Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss the very interesting topic, that is the preamble. And as the name suggests of the chapter, the preamble, preface and the introduction of the Constitution. See, the preamble is the ID card of our Constitution. This was said by very prominent jurist of our India, that is Mr. Palkhiwala. So we'll be discussing a lot about regarding preamble in this chapter, in this session. We'll be discussing basically the features, the components, then we'll be discussing the words which are incorporated in preamble in our Constitution, and then we'll be discussing what all landmark cases talks about preamble, and then we'll be having some questions strictly based on the preamble of the Constitution. Okay, let's start. The first concept of the preamble was given by the American Constitution. Okay, preamble of Indian Constitution is totally based upon objective resolution. See, objective resolution was a motto that was incorporating all the values of our country that is going to be independent, and it was drafted and moved by Pandit Nehru on 30th December 1946, and it was adopted by Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. Okay, see, the 42nd Amendment of 1976, which is very famous, we all know, added 3 new words. That was socialist, secular and integrity. You can learn these words very easily. 42nd Amendment 1976, SSI, that is socialist, secular and integrity, or you can use ISS. Whatever feels good for you, socialist, secular and integrity, 3 new words were added. The preamble embodies the basic philosophy and fundamental values which was used or which is being used in our country from the Constitution, that is political, moral and religious values. Okay, it contains the grand and noble vision of our founding fathers of Constitution. Okay, see, it is preamble in itself a document which is neither a source of power to the legislature nor a prohibition on powers of legislature. So here comes the question कि sir इसका क्या मतलब है? So basically it means it is non-justiciable, non-enforceable in courts of law. किसी भी court of law में ये justiciable नहीं है और neither enforceable है, but as I have already said, it has the idea, it has the vision. So we use the preamble as it is. Okay, we take the vision, we take the idea from the preamble. Okay, see, preamble resembles the Declaration of Independence of United States of America said by M. Hidayatullah, the former president. Preamble was enacted by the Constituent Assembly, as I've already told, after the rest of the Constitution was already enacted to ensure its conformity with the Constitution. यहाँ पर एक question बनता है कि सर पहले हमारा Constitution बन गया, it was ready to be enacted, and at last the preamble was added into it. This makes sure how important was preamble to us. Okay, we the people of India emphasizes that the Constitution is made by and for the Indian people. See, we talk about the democracy, and this is what incorporated in our we the people of India. That is the first and sole main idea of our preamble, and it was the concept of popular sovereignty. Now we are coming to the next section, that is the components of preamble. Okay, see, first of all we'll talk about the sources, then we'll talk about the nature of our Indian state, what was the objective of the particular document, and the date of adoption of the Constitution. See, these are the factual data, and we have to be very much sure, and we have to be very much appropriate with the data, right? The source of the authority from the Constitution, it derives its authority from people of India. As I have told, we the people of India is the commanding authority. And name of the Indian state, it is a sovereign. So nature of the Indian state, It is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. We'll be discussing each word in very detail in upcoming lectures. Objective of the Constitution: we ensure justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity to the people of India. And the date of adoption of our Constitution was 26 November 1949. It's 1949. Typical error. Okay. Significance of our preamble. See, what does our preamble signify? It's very important. See how many ideas came from the people and also across the India, across the globe. Let's see. Horoscope of the Indian Democratic Republic, philosophy of the Constitution, summary of Indian Constitution, identity card of our Constitution, as I've already mentioned, said by Palkhiwala. Key to the mind of the Constitution maker, beacon light for judiciary to decide constitutionality. It confirms us how important the preamble is to us. The horoscope of Indian Democratic Republic. It is also the philosophy on which our Constitution is based. It is the identity card. Suppose, let's see, we have an identity card over here. I have my picture, I have my name, then address, and lot more basic details. Okay? It talks about the name of my father, the name of my mother, and basic address, and then blood group and something like that. What does it tells? If suppose you get this card, तो आपको ये पता चल जाएगा कि what is all about a person is. तो आपको पता चल जाएगा इनका नाम क्या है, ये कहाँ रहते हैं, and that's all. But अब इनके पिताजी क्या करते हैं, इनके माताजी क्या करते हैं, lot more detailing will be given in the Constitution. So the preamble is the ID card for our Constitution. Okay. Now we are coming to the keywords used in the preamble. ठीक है. और सबसे पहले let me tell you, please आप लोग preamble को याद कर लो. Why so? Once the preamble is ready with you, that means half of the journey is already done if questions comes from preamble. So I will be discussing very detail the keywords used in the preamble. The first is sovereign. Sovereign means the very basic question people ask, what is mean of sovereignty? Simple, there is no dependency and you are neither in a dominion state and no one rules over you. Stick, let's see. Complete independent state, not a dominion of any other country, sovereign in internal as well as external matter. As a sovereign country, India can acquire foreign territory or cede a part in favor of any other country. It sentence as it is can be asked in our question, and it's very important to note it down. As a sovereign country, India can acquire a foreign territory or cede a part in favor of any other country. Okay, so this was all about the sovereign word. The second word, very important, socialist. Okay, let me tell you, the socialist word added in Constitution, in the preamble itself, in 42nd amendment we have discussed, was basically about the economic planning, right? So, see, whatever we do, right, as a country, as a state, as a government, we do have a basic idea about it before, then we enact as a law and we go for further regulations. So, the basic idea was regarding economic planning. But after the liberalization, the privatization, this idea was somewhat faded. Okay. Why so? Because you must be knowing the idea of a privatization. For example, a private company thinks about the welfare, but more about the company, less about the people. But our Indian government, moreover, thinks about the welfare of the people. That's why we are called as a welfare state. So let's discuss what does socialist mean. It is added by 42nd Amendment, 1976. Socialist contents are implicit in DPSP. What is DPSP? Directive Principle of State Policies. That is incorporated in Article 36 to 51. But 42nd Amendment mentioned it very separately. It mentioned the word socialist. Okay. Indian socialism, which is a combination of Marxism, Gandhism, heavily leaning towards Gandhism. Why so? Because it talks about the democratic socialism, adopted mixed economic model where both public as well as the private sector come side by side and develop the idea of welfare state. Okay. Now, there comes the third very important word, that is secular. it is also added by this 42nd Amendment 1976, part of the basic structure of our Constitution, that is the basic structure of doctrine. Supreme Court also said that secular state was implicitly mentioned in Article 25 to 28. What does this mean? It means that the India as a country do not follow any particular religion irrespective of the number of the people following it. हमारे देश में पारसीज भी हैं, मुस्लिम्स भी हैं, हिंदुइज्म भी फॉलो करते हैं, लॉट मोर रिलीजन्स आर ओवर हेयर, बट द इंडियन welfare state as a whole is a secular. Okay, India as a country is a secular country, and we do follow the positive secularism in India. It does not mean that we are going to demean the religion. We are not following it, we are not demeaning it either. Positive secularism in India. All religions have the same status and support from the state. That's what I have said. India as a state, कोई भी religion follow नहीं करता है, right? For example, there are Islamic states in the world. There are the Catholic states as well, like for example Vatican City. But India as a state, कोई भी religion को follow नहीं करता है. But on the other hand, it also do not demeans it. Yes, among students, the word is democratic. Okay, what democratic word incorporated in our preamble means? It derives its meaning from doctrine of popular sovereignty. It talks about the possession of supreme power by the people. Okay, and democratic words embraces the political plus social and economic democracy that is given to the Indian people, right? Indian democracy talks about the representative parliamentary democracy, and the executive is responsible to the legislature for all its policies and action. Okay, so इससे एक बात ये clear हो गई that Indian democracy is all about a representative parliamentary democracy. Representative means that somewhat we are involved into it, we as a people. Okay, manifestation of Indian democracy. What does it manifest? Universal adult franchise. Okay, periodic elections. Okay, rule of law, independence of judiciary, and absence of discrimination on certain grounds. So, students, this is very important for you, as we have already committed to you that will give you the tricks and the hacks to solve the question in examination hall. And for that, we'll be providing you the best strategy. And the first strategy that I am going to give you from the preamble is how to manage a lot of information in very crisp way. See, what does our Indian democracy manifest? Very simple: universal adult franchise, periodic elections, rule of law, independence of judiciary, and absence of any sort of discrimination. Clear? Now, let's talk about what are the instrument of direct democracy. See, this basically it is in the democratic section. We are talking about the same word, that is democracy, and there are 4 types of instrument used in the direct democracy. That is referendum, initiative, recall, and plebiscite. These are some of the famous sort of tools, you can say. In referendum, procedure followed is whereby a proposed legislation is referred to the electorate for settlement by their direct votes. For example, आपको ये कह दिया जाए कि एक ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल हैं, लेट्स सपोज 17 to 19, ओके, और आपको एक मोशन दे दिया जाए दैट ईदर यू आर इन फेवर और नॉट. यू कैन सिंपली रेज योर हैंड्स एंड डिसाइड द मैटर. दैट इज what referendum talks about. Initiative, method by means of which the people can propose a bill to the legislature for enactment. For example, कि suppose this time we have a very important topic in our country, and in current affairs of polity, you must be discussing about the cryptocurrency, about the artificial intelligence. So these are the basic things that should be incorporated. So how it can be done? Through initiative tool. Okay, recall. Achha, what does recall mean? It is a method by means of which the voters can remove a representative or an officer before the expiry of his term. Hardly seen in our country, but this method is very important to make sure the democracy is established in a state. Okay, plebiscite, method of obtaining the opinion of public on any issue of public importance. It is generally used to solve the territorial disputes. For example, suppose now I have a question for you related to current affairs. There are a lot of islands, okay, of France as well as UK. They are fighting for their dominance, for their dominion status as well, for their independence, and they are asking for plebiscite. Find it out and tell us. The next word is republic. Two categories are over there: monarchy, that is in Britain, and then republic, that is used as a word for India and USA. Indian Republic is head of state is president, and it is indirectly elected by electoral college. We'll be discussing in a later part in our course, right? Republic means vesting political sovereignty in people, and there is absence of any privileged class, and all public office open to all without any discrimination. And Article 55 related to the election of president, it is also mentioned into that. See, what does this particular line means? Absence of privileged class. You must be hearing about the royal families of XYZ country. They are the privileged people, but not in India, because India is a republic nation. Okay, so the next word is justice. The justice word is taken from the very famous concept of the motion, Russian Revolution from 1970. And we have basically three types of justice that we embrace, that is social, economic and political. And we do have a distributive justice in India, okay, because we are a welfare state, and we talk about social justice and economic justice. Social, equal treatment of all citizens without any discrimination, okay, absence of privilege to any particular section, improvement in the conditions of backward class and women, okay. Now let's talk about economics. See, I am explaining each term so that it could be easy for you to understand and so that you can never forget. Non-discriminative between people based on economic factor, okay. Elimination of inequalities of wealth, income and property. How it is done? It is done because we are, again, I am deliberately saying is we are as a welfare state, okay. We are a socialist country. Political. All citizens should have equal political rights, equal access to all political offices and equal voice in the government. It does not mean, sir, मैं वोट कर रहा हूँ, इस वोट की वैल्यू 2 है, आप वोट कर रहे हो, आपकी वोट की वैल्यू 1 है. This is not be running in our country. Liberty. Ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity, very famous concept, notion from French Revolution 1789. Please be very much confirmed with the dates and years. Absence of restraints, any sort of restraints on the activities of individual, because we are a liber. Providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Preamble secures. What does preamble secures? In terms of liberty, it secures liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief and worship. Okay, we do have all these liberty. Liberty does not mean you want to do anything and you can do. No. It should be done, but not without, beyond every limit. There has a positive limitation. So I can say, to be more precise, I can say we do have a positive liberty in our country. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपको छोड़ दिया गया है इस देश में, आप जो चाहे वो कर सकते हैं. No. As said, if you have a freedom, then I do have also a freedom in my country. Liberty ensured in preamble and fundamental right is not absolute but qualified. Yes, it's not absolute, because nothing can be absolute. It's very true. Absence of special privileges to any section of society. No such notion is given in our constitution. We follow our constitution. Advocate opportunities for all without discrimination, and preamble also tells that there is an equality of status and opportunity among us. Okay, now the second notion comes is the equality. Equality also will be discussing in 3 segments: civic, political and economic. What is civic equality? See, in the Article 14, it is written equality before law, prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, civil place of birth, and that is all it talks about equality. There is a equal opportunity in public employment, that is in Article 16. Abolition of untouchability, ठीक है, जैसे आपने सुना होगा वेरी फेमस नोशन इन अफ्रीका, अपार्थाइड, ठीक है. Article 17, it talks about the abolition of untouchability. Abolition of title, जैसे हमारे यहाँ कोई भी राय बहादुर सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग्स पहले हुआ करती थी बिफोर इंडिपेंडेंस, बस अब नहीं है, ठीक है, अबॉलिशन ऑफ टाइटल। बट यहाँ पे एक और क्वेश्चन है, अगेन क्वालिफाइड टाइटल्स कैन बी यूज्ड, और टू बी मोर प्रिसाइज एकेडमिक्स, ओके ओके। Political equality. No one is ineligible for inclusion in the electoral rolls on the grounds of equality, religion, race, caste or sex. That is Article 325. Okay. Lok Sabha and State Assembly election based on universal adult franchise. It does not mean I want a vote, I can take it from anyone. They should be qualified. Then we have economic equality. Equal right to educate, means of livelihood, equal pay, that is wages, and equality to men and women. It is like mentioned in Article 39, ठीक है, on the workplace. Fraternity, the third notion. Fraternity means sense of brotherhood. Sense of brotherhood, भाईचारा का एक मतलब है. Single citizenship promotes fraternity. It does not mean like we all are India. We all are Indians, and we are not a North Indian, South Indian. We all are Indians from North India. We all are Indians from South part. So it's good that we have a single citizenship. Okay. Article 51A talks very explicit fundamental duty of every citizen to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood transcending religious, linguistic, regional or sectional diversities. Okay. Fraternity also means dignity of individual. Okay. For example, every person has an personal individuality, and that is what is celebrated. Dignity of individual is ensured in fundamental right and DPSP. Unity and integrity of nation embraces both psychological and territorial dimension of national integration. Okay. Now, when we talk all these three words, liberty, equality and fraternity in one, we call it union of trinity. And what does this mean? This means social democracy. So guys, you can see how easily we have made it possible for you to understand. We have the notion word by word. We have talked about sovereign, socialist, then secular. Then we have come to democratic. Then we have talked about four tools in indirect democracy. Then we have talked about republic. Then we have talked about the justice and types of justice ensured to Indian people. Then we have talked about liberty, and at last we are talking about what does all this comes to form. It forms social democracy in our country. Okay, so now we are going to discuss the Supreme Court cases related to preamble. We have very precisely talked about the Beruberi Union case. Then we have Kesavananda Bharati case and LIC of India case. See, in Beruberi Union case, you know, preamble is not an integral part of constitution, was opined, and in Kesavananda Bharati, preamble is a part of constitution, and again in LIC of India case, Supreme Court held that preamble is an integral part of Indian constitution. So आपको ये याद रखना है कि 1960 में जो केस हुआ था बेरूबारी में, उसमें preamble को constitution का integral part नहीं माना गया था. Supreme Court held that preamble is not a part of constitution. Okay, but यहाँ पे एक चीज है, preamble shows the general purpose behind several provisions of the constitution. ये माना गया था. But in Kesavananda Bharati case, that is a great landmark judgment given by our Supreme Court, 1973, and again in LIC of India case, 1995. In both the cases, Supreme Court opined that preamble is an integral part of constitution. Now comes the question, amendability of preamble. Okay, whether preamble can be amended or not was dealt in Kesavananda Bharati case. Okay, Supreme Court reversed its verdict in Berubari Union case, I have already told, held that preamble is an integral part of the constitution and it can be amended under Article 368, but such amendments should not destroy the basic structure of the constitution. So student, let me tell you, the basic structure word is not mentioned in the constitution but in the judgments of Supreme Court. Okay, basic structure, and amendment can be done in India, okay, but it should not hamper the basic structure of the constitution. So students, it's high time to discuss the question that is based on preamble. we have the first question. Consider the following statements. And the first statement says, being a sovereign state, India can either acquire a foreign territory or cede a part of its territory in favor of foreign state. ठीक है? Let's go ahead. The terms secular and integrity were added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. Okay, we have discussed. In the Berubari Union case 1960, the Supreme Court held that preamble is an integral part of the Constitution. ये स्टेटमेंट सुनते ही आपके चेहरे पे एक मुस्कुराहट आ गई होगी, सर ये तो स्टेटमेंट पूरी तरीके से गलत है. तो जब ये हो गया कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट हेल्ड दैट प्रीएम्बल इज एन इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, मतलब हमारा थर्ड गलत है, तो थर्ड हमारा ए में है गया. देन डी, वी आर लेफ्ट विथ ओनली 1, 2 and 2. So again let's see, being a sovereign state, India can either acquire a foreign territory or cede part of its territory in favor of foreign state. It's true, it's obviously true. So the answer is B, 1 and 2 only. So see how easily it can be done. अगर आपको कंसेप्ट बहुत इन डेप्थ भी नहीं पता है, आपको ये पता है कि कुछ फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे गो थ्रू, हमारे सामने से एक बार गो थ्रू हुई है कि नहीं, एंड दैट ऑल वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस इन दिस प्रीलिम्स बूस्टर प्रोग्राम 120 plus marks. Okay, so stay tuned with us. We'll be discussing the more opportunity for all citizens in matter of public employment. Correct. No person shall be compelled to pay any taxes for promotion of any particular religion. It's correct. So, and the first is preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of belief, faith and worship. Again, it's correct. So, answer will be none of the above. See how easily we have done the question. We have discussed what basic features preamble has in our Indian Constitution, the components of preamble, then the dedicated cases, the landmark cases talked about preamble, and then at last we discussed about the question. I hope that you have really liked this session. So please do subscribe. Thank you.